Boa tarde, não sei se me conseguem ouvir. Boa tarde a todos. Antes de mais, gostaria de saudar a todos os participantes desta cerimónia, diria, de lançamento ou de abertura do curso sobre a resistência antimicrobiana. Gostaria igualmente de saudar a doutora Debbie, que é a nossa parceira e que torna possível esta formação. Thank you so much, Dr. Debbie. Como sabem, o INS é um instituto de saúde pública que tem, entre outras atribuições, a geração de evidência científica em saúde, tendo como propósito informar a tomada de decisão no domínio das políticas e programas de saúde, contribuindo assim para a melhoria da qualidade de vida dos nossos concidadãos. Igualmente, o Instituto Nacional de Saúde tem o papel de contribuir para a formação de recursos humanos na área de saúde, particularmente nos domínios de pesquisa científica, vigilância, laboratórios, entre outras, nas quais a nossa instituição é detentora de uma perícia particular. E é neste contexto que o INS tem vindo a implementar programas de formação de pós-graduação em colaboração com instituições de ensino superior nacionais e internacionais, bem como cursos de curta duração, sempre com o propósito de contribuir para o fortalecimento do Sistema Nacional de Saúde. É dentro, digo, deste quadro que, em colaboração com a Global Health Continuing Professional Development, estamos a implementar o curso de curta duração sobre resistência antimicrobiana, com enfoque para o papel do laboratório no diagnóstico e prevenção de doenças. O presente curso tem os seguintes objetivos: providenciar a atualização sobre a crise global da resistência antimicrobiana e a consequência ou as consequências, se quisermos, da ausência de ação, descrever o que são as infecções associadas à saúde, definir o papel do laboratório na resposta da resistência antimicrobiana e na prevenção e controle das infecções associadas à saúde, a fazer a revisão das tecnologias e orientação sobre o teste de detecção e suscetibilidade das infecções associadas à saúde para a gestão de pacientes e, por fim, desenvolver a capacidade laboratorial para a prevenção e controle das infecções em ambientes de saúde, para tornar os estabelecimentos de saúde mais seguros, reduzir os custos com a saúde e salvar vidas. Este curso conta com a participação de investigadores do INS e profissionais de saúde que atuam, sobretudo, no setor público, não só em Maputo, mas também ao nível das províncias. A formação conta igualmente, e como podemos constatar durante as apresentações, com a participação de docentes e investigadores de instituições de ensino superior com interesse nesta matéria. Estamos certos de que este curso de curta duração vai contribuir para o fortalecimento das nossas capacidades em construção no domínio da resistência antimicrobiana, e alegra-nos bastante saber que membros das equipes que trabalham sobre a resistência antimicrobiana participam ativamente desta formação, e gostaria de convidar a todos os participantes no sentido de maximizarem a aprendizagem durante a formação, assegurando a conclusão da formação dentro dos prazos estabelecidos. Este é seguramente um desafio importante, considerando que trata-se de uma formação virtual e auto-instrucional, o que exige desde logo que cada participante tenha uma elevada disciplina na organização do seu tempo, do seu horário de trabalho. Estamos convencidos de que cada um de vós conseguirá, portanto, estruturar melhor a sua agenda de modo a cumprir com sucesso aquilo que são as metas estabelecidas neste curso. A terminar, gostaria de reiterar o nosso agradecimento aos nossos parceiros, particularmente à doutora Debe, por todo o apoio, tornando possível a oferta desta formação e respectivos materiais em língua portuguesa. Estendo igualmente o meu agradecimento a todos os participantes desta formação e desde já pela atenção dispensada, o meu agradecimento e votos de sucessos nesta formação. Obrigado.
Muito obrigado, Dr. Rufino, pelas palavras que acaba de pronunciar. Vou convidar a doutora Debbie, que vai fazer a apresentação do curso. Tanto esperamos nesta apresentação entender tanto qual é a duração do curso, quais são os objetivos e qual é que será a metodologia, tanto que irá nortear este curso. Dito isto, I would like to ask Dr. Deb to present the course.
Thank you. And thank you again, Dr. Nelson and Dr. Rufino, and to INS for hosting us and really helping us put this course together. And thank you to all the esteemed colleagues that I've gotten to meet and took time today to join. So this presentation, as has been described, I will introduce the course and really the objectives and the format for the course. And then at the end, we will officially launch it with INS, and it will be available on our platform. And so let me just describe here. So I think I've already introduced myself. Thank you again. So this course has been developed with a core faculty who I'd like to give thanks to and introduce here. Professor Rosanna Peeling from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine and director of the International Diagnostic Center. Professor Peeling is a microbiologist and an expert in diagnostics and has worked with the World Health Organization as well as many other institutions as well in various capacities. And then myself, Dr. Noah Fongwen, who is with the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and also a fellow at the London School. And Dr. Noah is the director of diagnostics and innovations at Africa CDC. And then Dr. Carl Boudman from the University of Manitoba and also the Institute of Tropical Medicine in Antwerp, Belgium. Dr. Boudman is a medical doctor, as Dr. Noah is, and they helped to contribute to the course in that capacity. And Dr. Carl is an expert in microbiology as well as AMR. So thank you. And that is also to say that this course was developed not just by the core faculty, but we worked with all of our regional partners and faculty. And so here's just to name some of our key contacts that helped us. In the left, you'll see to develop the English course. So we had regional representation from the Philippines, from Peru, from Senegal, Oman, India, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia. And then as we'll talk about, but the course is available not just in English, but Spanish, French, and Portuguese as well. And so here we have highlighted those who helped us with the Spanish course and the French course, as well as the Portuguese course. And this also means that a lot of the content we wanted to make sure that was relevant to the countries and to the region. So for the Portuguese course, we have worked with faculty from Brazil, as well as with faculty from Mozambique. And thank you again. I'm sure many of you here contributed in different ways. And I've only listed our point of contacts, Dr. Rufino and Dr. Eleshjani, who we have been working with on many antimicrobial resistance projects throughout the years. So when you enter into our course, this is what you will see, and I'll describe that better, but I wanted to actually introduce the course curriculum. And it's broken up into 3 weeks, because ideally you could take it across 3 weeks, but if you wanted to, you could take it all at one time. But basically on the right is week 1. And so I have left it in Portuguese as it appears, so you can see. So week 1 is the introduction really to AMR, and it's about the global crisis. So it's setting the stage. And underneath, I have bulleted out some of the topics that we will discuss in week 1. Why are hospitals becoming unsafe, given that this course is specific on healthcare-associated infections? The role of the laboratory in keeping hospitals safe strategies to prioritize healthcare-associated infections and pathogens for surveillance, building laboratory capacity for screening and surveillance of HAIs. We also talk about the importance of laboratory data management and reporting and sharing this data across all sectors. And then we touch on continuous professional development and the importance of continuous education and information sharing for AMR. In week 2, it's a little bit more technical. There will be more information on the methods and the technologies, particularly around antimicrobial susceptibility testing. We talk about antimicrobial stewardship and the prevention and control of HAIs. And really, as I mentioned, focusing on technologies in the laboratory. We talk about the role of the laboratory again in the detection of HAIs and guiding patient management. So here's where we have a few case studies and interviews between the laboratory and clinicians. So we talk about that lab clinical gap as well. And then in week 3, which is the final week, we actually will then dive a little bit more into really how to capacitate the laboratory and prepare for more antimicrobial resistance, data reporting, and working across potentially across the different systems within Mozambique, but also reporting data to WHO and working with other partners such as Africa, CDC, etc. And so this week is really also a more of a advocacy and a call to action as well. So we kind of circle back on this global crisis of AMR and what is the cost of inaction if we don't do anything. And again, what are HAIs, why are they important, and the role of the laboratory in the prevention and control of HAIs. So the way that the platform is set up, it is free, it is online, and I've provided our general link there on the bottom right. Our passion is on education and making it relevant to the regions and the countries, so that it's you will hear a lot from that local faculty and case studies, etc. We really want to advance knowledge and best practices in global health and laboratory medicine by providing healthcare professionals the opportunities for academic achievement and recognition. And as I've said already and presented, this course was really made and brought together in collaboration with the faculty in the many countries. So there are 3 modules that I've just shown you, and each one should take you approximately 1 to 2 hours to complete, but they are self-paced, so you can go at your own pace as you would like. The courses are available, as I mentioned, in English, Portuguese, Spanish, and French. And again, they're developed in collaboration with regional faculty and professional organizations as well. I think, as this course has been endorsed and is by INS, but many of our other courses as well are being endorsed by professional organizations such as laboratory professionals, pathologists, clinical fellows as well, organizations as well. And so the course format, we introduce a variety of different educational activities as well to really help to get the learning process and make it engaging for the learner as well. So you'll see more of the traditional mini lectures, which we're used to seeing, such as PowerPoints, and where you have a faculty member, an instructor who talks through some of the concepts. We also use animations as well to explain some of those principles of laboratory assays and show them through videos as well. So we, for example, Dr. Carl Budman did a lot of work in laboratories. He works all over the world. And so he actually worked with a lot of technicians to film a lot of these methods and techniques. We have interviews with experts as well, and we'll talk about that. So we have heard from, many esteemed colleagues in different capacities as antimicrobial stewards and the work that they are doing in their country to fight AMR. And then we also have some activities that are self-study, where we might present a publication or, for example, the GLASS report, and we just make it available to you to read on your own time, to have access to it. And then we have discussions with faculty as well. We have, and I'll show you how each of our lessons has the ability for you to post a question as well, but we do have some modules that specifically will ask you for your input to contribute. And then really the idea behind this is that we are networking as well. So you will, when you post, for example, your response or your questions, you also are seeing what others across the world are providing as far as their experiences, what's happening in their lab, and so we see a lot of times where there might be, people discussing with each other, sharing materials, for example, or tools. And then any references or resources that we have talked about, we make available to you as well. That's at the end of each week. You have a list of where all of everything that we've talked about with a link to how to get it. And lastly, we actually have quizzes for each week. And it's 10 questions. And when you complete all of this, then you receive your certificate, and I'll show you that. So one of the unique things that has really come about with this educational platform, and I should say that we really developed this during COVID. We used to do a lot of in-person trainings, which we still very much enjoy to do, but we realized that we could reach a broader audience as well if we posted everything online, as well as because everyone is very busy and it's oftentimes very difficult to get people to come in person to sit in a room for 3 days to do a training. So this you can go at your own pace. But we wanted to make it, again, engaging. And as I've shown you, not just by the various activities, but these are just highlighting that, again, the quizzes each week has 10 questions. They're knowledge-based, they're multiple choice, and they are written by the course faculty in order to align with the learning objectives. We also, at the end of the course, have a survey for you where we ask you, how did we do? How likely are you to recommend this course to a colleague? And what other topics would you like to hear about? So many times, and we are actually in discussions with INS now about this is where and how we develop our next courses. If there's a topic that, is more relevant to Mozambique, we would work with the faculty, many of you then, to develop such a course. On our end, we have educational experts and people that know how to put courses online, but we really rely on the local faculty for driving the curriculum as well. As I mentioned, you receive a certificate at the end of completion. Depending on the language and who we have partnered with, that certificate may have different logos, different endorsements as well. And I'll show you the one from Mozambique, the Portuguese one at the end. And as I said, these discussion boards, we really highly encourage you to participate in them, because this is the opportunity to really engage with the faculties, to either ask questions or provide your own comments and input and be heard. And it really just kind of helps us build this AMR community and what we call this community of learning. So to date, this course has already been launched in English, Spanish, Portuguese, and French in different capacities. So this is showing you the participation metrics so far. We have more than 4,000 participants from 139 countries that are registered for this course. And the data we're showing here is as of just November this year, but as we know, the course is ongoing, and we hope to add to these numbers now that we are launching with Mozambique. And you will see here on this figure that the majority of people that take our course are from the laboratory, but we also have large representation from the healthcare professionals as well, and individuals that are microbiologists. So these could be microbiologists that work in the laboratory, they could be researchers, they could be clinicians as well that identify as solely working on microbiology. And obviously we have a research representation as well too, program managers. We even have people from industry that come, because we do talk a lot about the available technologies as well, and they like to contribute to that as well, and they hear what you are asking for. We've had many discussions with industry partners on really new tests, new assays as well. And obviously the infection control sector, we work closely with them as well for developing this course. So in getting started, and this is where I'm just going to run you through what the course looks like, and these slides will be made available to you as well afterwards. And I hope that you will take the course, but also share this with your colleagues, with also junior faculty, with students, etc. Basically, when you register on it, and I said, again, it's free, you just register your name. The reason you register is because we have numerous courses as well. And we do like to find out where you're coming from, you know, what is your expertise. And when you have registered already, you will have access to, as you see there, all other courses as well. But on the top right, you see like my name, and that becomes also, you see one that says my dashboard. It will track your progress. If you're registered across different courses, or even this course, it will tell you how many courses you've taken, how many certificates you've received, etc. And as I showed you already for the course, as it's when you actually come in, it's bundled together so that you will see week 1, 2, and 3. And then you can select, you know, which one you want to go into. We very much suggest that you start with week 1, though, because it builds upon each other. And once you are in each week, for example, this is showing week 1, we give you an overview again of what is that, the topics for that week. And importantly, on the bottom where you see objectives, those are going to be the learning objectives, what we hope that by the end of each week you will have learned and taken away. And again, each of the quizzes is relevant to those objectives, because we want to make sure that the learner has really absorbed this information. And so, as I mentioned, because we have different types of activities in terms of learner engagement and information sharing, this is an example of what it will look like for one of our mini lectures. They have been developed by PowerPoint, and now they look like a little movie. And you will have, in this case, Dr. Noah Fongwen will be describing about the glass reporting. But because this course is in Portuguese, we have translated all of the slides. The materials available are in Portuguese. And we have the voiceover, a translator who will also provide, translate Dr. Noah's a lecture into Portuguese as well. And so on the left, you see the lessons that are within week 1, the introduction, and then it jumps into the global crisis, etc. And on the top left, you also see how far of week 1 you have completed. And then I also want to point out that at the bottom where you see that it says download, all of these slides are available for download so that you could use them for other teaching opportunities or for your own references as well. And I've mentioned a few times that we have this ability to also engage with the faculty to post comments or questions. So on the top right where you see that it says discussions, that is where you would click on there and you could start a thread and provide your own comments. And when you are done, you just hit complete and continue, and it takes you to the very next lesson. So as far as the different types of lessons, I also mentioned that we use videos that will help explain some of the concepts behind AMR and also demonstrate laboratory techniques. So here are just some examples. Much of the content has been developed by us, but obviously if there are others that have already developed very good content, we post that and share it. So on the top left, we are sharing a link with you to a YouTube video that describes microbes, the basic understanding of it. This course is, I should say, targeted to all healthcare professionals, as I showed you in the figure. So we try to write it where there is some just quick basic information to get you started and kind of remind us all about antimicrobial resistance and some of those basic concepts, but then we also provide much more detailed information as well too, because as I mentioned, the course will targets laboratory technicians, clinicians, program managers, all antimicrobial stewards, people that work in the hospital settings, as well as policymakers and decision makers as well. And so on the bottom left is a video on blood collection. And this is from our colleagues at bioMérieux, and they actually had already translated this video into different languages. So what we have made available to you is the one in Portuguese. So it's a good reminder of good practices for blood collection. And then on the right is one of the videos I mentioned from Dr. Carl Budman, and he is demonstrating a technique in the lab. And that will be a live video. You will actually see him doing the technique, walking you through it. And then we also have case studies, as whether it be news articles that we discuss, because we know that antimicrobial resistance is very important right now and it's being talked about in the news. So we like to present those and have our faculty describe, what is that about? In this case, this is an article in The Guardian that was really an alarming news story about, in the UK, the number of deaths that are occurring and the impact also on the cost to the healthcare system in terms of billions of pounds cost of. And then on the right is Dr. Amal, one of our faculty members from Oman. And she is describing some case studies. She is a clinician. She's also a researcher at an academic institution. So she, in this case, is talking about a specific case study that occurred in her country and how that the clinicians worked up for the patient, the treatment, but also how they worked with the laboratory and the control program as well. And so here's Dr. Amal again, as well as Dr. Ram from India. And so we have numerous faculty interviews that we do via Zoom as well. And we ask them to give their either case stories or lectures or respond to certain questions. So in this case, we have really, posed a series of questions for them and collected that here for you. And again, as I mentioned, the discussion forums, which are really very important to us because it is an opportunity to hear from you. I can tell you personally that I have gotten to know quite a few students just via the discussion forums, either answering questions myself or going to some of our faculty that wrote the material to ask them, and they come back and they say, wow, that's a really good idea, good question. And then, or I will reach out to local faculty, like, for example, if it's something more specific to Mozambique, I would reach out to Dr. Rufino and say, we have a learner that has posted this question or comment, could you please share it appropriately? And then at the end, on the top left, what you see is just now bringing you back, wrapping you up. We have a summary, so you will have completed all of those lessons on the left. And all that remains is a summary of that week, the quiz. And as I mentioned, you have access to the references and resources, and then also a survey. And on the bottom right is what your certificate will look like. Now, because this course in Portuguese is also being developed was developed with Brazil and with Mozambique as well, we have logos. It was endorsed by numerous professional organizations in Brazil, but importantly, it's also been endorsed by INS in Mozambique. So thank you for that. And so in summary, just to wrap up my presentation, which really was just to introduce you to this course, the course is now live and you can register there, and I will make this available in the chat as well too. You have, INS has told me that you have 1 month to complete the 3 modules, which have been split up into 3 weeks. Should not take you longer than 6 hours total. You can work at your own pace. Again, feel free to use the discussion forum to ask any questions or post comments. And upon completion, I already showed you the certificate that you will receive. And so with that, thank you again very much for your time. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them. Thank you again. I think I'll hand it over back to Nelson. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Debbie, for the excellent presentation. And now it's open for questions.
Nelson, vejo a mão do Inocêncio. Nelson, vejo algumas mãos já levantadas.
I think, thank you.
Nelson.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll refer to you guys if you would like to call on people, and I can see if I can answer, but it may be also be in Portuguese, so I may need your help. Thank you.
We will translate. Hermenegildo, estás pronto para traduzir, não é? De português, de modo que ela possa perceber a questão. Nelson, acho que deve estar com algum problema. Inocêncio, faça favor.
Obrigado, doutor Rufino. E também obrigado por esta oportunidade de podermos participar deste curso, que é uma área que já não é nova, mas é uma área de interesse de muitos, incluindo eu. Não sei se posso colocar, é uma questão breve, quick question, não sei se posso colocar em português, não percebi qual é a metodologia.
Se puder colocar em inglês, assim ela percebe, caso contrário, coloca em português e traduzimos de modo que ela possa compreender. Hermenegildo, consegue ouvir? Hermenegildo, consegue ouvir?
Sim, consigo ouvir, perfeito.
Tá bem. Sim, Queria primeiro agradecer por estas notas introdutórias. A minha questão é breve e eu percebi que o curso terá 3 módulos que vão decorrer durante 4 semanas. Então, eu queria perceber, não sei se terá passado aqui o slide, mas eu não vi, queria perceber quais são os dias e qual vai ser o mesmo período, se vão ser 4 horas, 2 horas por semana, mas não percebi qual será o dia de semana e se o tempo vai se manter 14 horas ou terá outro. Desculpe se passou a informação, mas eu não percebi. Era mesmo para buscar esclarecimento. Over.
Okay, I'm grateful for the presentation, the opportunities. However, this course is not new. So my question, I want to know on which days of the week are we going to attend the course, and what's going to be the time? Is it going to be 2 hours, 4 hours course? What's going to be the time and the days of the week that we are going to attend the course? That's the question.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, sorry I did not make that clear. So the course is online and you can take it at any time. It is up to you. It is at your own pace. Whenever you log on, the modules are there ready for you, and it keeps track of your progress. We have just estimated how long each week, which we call also a module, each lesson will take. We say it probably could take maybe an average a couple of hours, but those are again on your timeline. When you post just questions or post anything to the discussion, it will sit there and we monitor it. So within usually 24 hours, we will respond back to you again via the platform as well. Usually the course we say is live for 3 weeks because that's really the time that we have available the faculty to answer questions. But in this case, INS is making it live for 4 weeks. So you have a little bit of extra time to complete the course. They are asking please to try to finish it within 4 weeks because that way they can see how many people have taken it and how many certificates have been issued. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Inocencio. I think I answered the question. I saw it. I got a message from.
Thank you, Dr. Debbie. Nelson, não sei se estás de volta para moderar, mas enquanto não, a Sinfrônia, faça favor.
Boa tarde. Bom, só não baixei a mão porque já havia levantado, mas na verdade a questão era mesmo essa que o Inocêncio colocou. A minha preocupação está mesmo relacionada com quando é que inicia o curso e quais são os dias da semana. Não percebi, na verdade, o esclarecimento pelos obstáculos da língua. Agradecia que o Hermenegildo fizesse uma tradução, só para eu também poder me centrar. Obrigada.
Ok, obrigado. O curso vai ser online. Então, a pessoa pode fazer o curso dependendo da sua disponibilidade, do tempo que a pessoa tem para fazer o curso. Não é? Mas a previsão é que o curso seja concluído dentro de 4 semanas. Mas é ao seu ritmo, é um curso ao seu ritmo. Não é? Mas que tem que se fechar dentro de 4 semanas. É basicamente isso.
Vejo só para ajudar a Sinfrônia. Este é um curso online. Todavia, é um curso auto-instrucional no sentido de que nós podemos correr o curso quantas vezes quisermos e podemos acompanhar as aulas também em qualquer momento do dia, depende naturalmente da disponibilidade dos participantes. O que é importante é que a nossa expectativa, ou melhor, o curso foi desenhado de modo que ele possa ser concluído num prazo que vai de 3 a 4 semanas. Portanto, a nossa expectativa e desejo é que cada um de vós possa organizar-se de modo que num espaço de 3 a 4 semanas possa concluir todos os módulos. Obrigado. Não
Desculpa,
vejo.
acabei ficando sem conexão. Não sei se temos mais.
Desculpa, doutor.
Sim, faça favor.
Alô? Sim, desculpa, doutor.
Faça favor. Cifrônia, faça favor.
Eu percebi, obrigada, eu percebi semanas no máximo. Sim, tô on. Não sei se consegue me ouvir agora.
Perfeitamente.
Alô? Deve ser problema de conexão.
Conseguimos ouvir perfeitamente. Pode prosseguir.
Internet.
Conseguimos ouvi-la perfeitamente. Pode prosseguir.
Obrigada. Sim, eu dizia, percebi que o curso. Sim, obrigada, doutor. Eu dizia que eu percebi a explicação que o doutor deu, é um curso auto-administrado, só queria perceber quando é que inicia, se é a partir de agora que vão disponibilizar um link para tal, ou tem uma data prevista em que todos vão iniciar ao mesmo tempo. Essa é outra questão. Obrigada.
Okay, a follow-up question is when the course start exactly?
When does the course exactly start? Was that the question? Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah, so
yes, that is the follow-up question.
okay, this is the official launch of the course. In the chat, I put the link. If you click on it, you would immediately go to it right now, and you could start it as soon as this webinar is over if you wanted.
Ok, este curso, este é o lançamento. Depois temos um link, temos um link disponível. Logo depois dessa sessão pode clicar no link e pode começar a participar do curso.
Obrigada pelo esclarecimento.
Por favor. Pode voltar a moderar.
Sim, obrigado, doutor Fino. Gostaria de saber se há mais questões. Acho que é bom percebermos, não é? Tanto a estrutura do curso, tanto qualquer dúvida que tivermos, por favor, coloquem. Me parece que não há mais dúvidas.
Talvez, Dr. Debbie, can you explain and clarify how do we do the registration?
Sure. So when you click on that link, it will take you to the course, and it will prompt you already to put in your information to register. So it's just going to ask you for your name, your organization, and what is your title or your role. And then that is it. Immediately, then you can click on week 1 and start that.
Para o registro, é só clicar no link, então o link vai levar o candidato para onde vai introduzir os seus dados pessoais, onde isso inclui o nome, a organização, e depois vai começar na primeira semana do curso.
Obrigado. Dr. Debbie, can you also tell us about the way through which you will monitor the participation so that we make sure that the participants are taking all the modules?
Yeah, thank you. I just also wanted to show you this is live. I have already registered. That's why my name is here. And here, because I've already registered, it just says my courses. So I would click on that and it can take me directly to it. But when you first click on that link, it will say here in orange, it'll say enroll, register. So that's where you would do it. You could also click up here for register, or this will show up as well. And when you click on week 1, if you have not registered or enrolled, it will say enroll for free. And if you've already started the course, you just resume. So this is already taking you into week 1. So this is now live walking you through. And so this is each of the courses here. Okay, so as far as for us, we can see everyone who has, because we see all the discussions, etc. We also see everyone who has registered. It provides us with a list, and as I've mentioned to you, Dr. Rufino, you know, we share that with you of a list of all the registered participants, and we can see how far you have each of the learners has completed. And we have the ability to also send reminders because we know that life is busy and sometimes people start the course and might forget. So don't be surprised. We usually send out like an email to everybody saying, don't forget, you have 1 week left before, you know, the course finishes. I hope that answered it.
Thanks, Dr. Debbie. Aqui é importante sublinhar que a equipa de gestão do curso vai fazer a monitoria dos nossos avanços, se estamos a entrar ou não para as sessões, para os módulos, e por isso vamos receber alguns reminders no caso de algum atraso no segmento, vão receber, portanto, estas notificações de modo que possam completar o módulo dentro do prazo estabelecido. Então, queria convidar vivamente a cada um de vós, no sentido de garantir que conseguem, dentro deste prazo estabelecido de 3 a 4 semanas, completar os módulos, de modo que possam também receber os certificados dentro deste horizonte temporal estabelecido. Vejo a mão da Imelda.
Boa tarde a todos. A minha questão era mesmo relacionada aos certificados. Percebi que o curso tem a duração de 1 mês, perdão. Mas é possível que um dos participantes ou alguém de nós aqui faça o curso em menos tempo. Nós, o certificado, teremos que esperar até o final do curso, ou pode ser solicitado antes mesmo, uma vez que cada um pode entrar ao seu momento para fazer o curso. Pode sim se fazer em 1 a 2 horas por dia, mas há quem pode fazer por mais horas. Obrigada.
Given the fact that the course is self-paced, so we know that it takes 4 weeks, which is 1 month, but it's a self-paced course. So if I do the course within less time, like let's say I do it into one week or 2 weeks, will I wait for the other student to finish the course, like which is 4 months, to get my certificate? Or can I request my certificate once I'm done with the course and it can be issued?
Yeah, and thank you. That's a good question. So you could complete the course and all in one sitting. We sometimes have, you know, particularly people that obviously work during the week. So sometimes on the weekends, I might see a person that sits and does the entire course over one weekend. And so you don't have to wait for everybody to finish. When you are, you know, again, as I showed you on the platform, when you reach the end of that week, it generates a certificate for you. When you're just done, it automatically pops up and it already has your name in it. That's the other reason we ask you to register, because the certificate will already have your name printed on it, and you have the ability to download and save it or to print it as well too. And if you have any problems, I've given my email address. We have an entire team of people that, behind the scenes who can help you if you have any technical issues. And I will say that you will receive actually 3 certificates, because there are 3 weeks. We consider them almost 3 courses, part of this entire AMR HAI course. So you would receive 3 certificates, and it's automatically generated.
É uma boa pergunta que fizeste, então eu vou tentar resumir o que ela disse. Quando terminar o curso, há pessoas que já fizeram isso dentro de uma semana, de um final de semana, uma semana inteira. Então, quando termina o curso, o sistema vai gerar o seu certificado, os seus dados pessoais já estão lá. Então, o sistema vai gerar o seu certificado e você estará em condições de baixar o seu certificado. Então, importa também dizer que vai receber, serão emitidos 3 certificados, quer dizer, cada semana, as 3 semanas vão ser 3 certificados, não é? Ainda que eu faça o curso dentro de 4 semanas, como é um curso autogerido, mas serão emitidos também, quer dizer, serão emitidos 3 certificados que vão corresponder cada semana. Não é? É mais ou menos isso. Então, a emissão de certificado será automática, o sistema vai gerar o certificado assim que terminar o curso. É basicamente isso que eu quero dizer.
Desculpe, Menegildo, só para ter certeza que eu percebi, será gerado um certificado por cada módulo?
Okay, just a follow-up question. Is one certificate going to be issued per module or per week? I think I need to also to get back to this question.
Yes, it will be 1 per module.
Será certificado por módulo.
So for example, in week 1, that module is called, I believe, the AMR crisis. And that is more of information on general, what is antimicrobial resistance, what's happening around the world, for example. And so that you'll receive a certificate for that module. And then when you move into week 2, which is more specific about the techniques used in the laboratory to identify AMR, when you complete that module, then you receive a certificate for that, showing that you successfully completed week 2, and so on, the same for week 3.
Andy, vou tentar responder. Então, nós temos 3 semanas. Então, cada módulo tem só uma matéria que vai cobrir, não é? Então, a primeira semana tem um módulo focado numa área de aprendizagem. Então, ao terminar os tópicos envolvidos naquele módulo daquela semana, vai ter um certificado. Passa para o segundo módulo, que é mais técnico, vai focar mais para aspectos do laboratório. Então, depois de cobrir os tópicos envolvidos naquela segunda semana, vai receber o certificado, fechar aquele módulo. Depois passa também para a terceira semana. Então, aquela semana também terá uma área de foco. Depois de fechar aqueles tópicos envolvidos naquela terceira semana, vai receber um certificado.
Obrigada. Só mais uma questão. Qual é a percentagem mínima para a pessoa ter direito ao certificado? A percentagem mínima que a pessoa deve alcançar.
So what is the minimum percentage for someone to be entitled to the certificate?
Okay, another good question. So I'm just showing here, again, the 3 modules and how you receive a certificate for Semana 1, Semana 2, Semana 3. So you do have to complete you have to read and have viewed all of the material And on the quiz, it's really more, we ask that you try to get 80%, but it's really a certificate of completion. So you do have to have viewed each of the lessons for each module.
Aqui trata-se do um certificado de conclusão do curso. Então, mas para tal, tem que ter visto todo o material que será disponibilizado, que constitui o curso. Tem que passar por todos os materiais, tem que ver todos os materiais, ler todos os materiais. Então, o certificado, na verdade, é um certificado de conclusão. Se concluiu todo o material que foi disponibilizado para o curso. E a previsão é que a pessoa tenha, por aí, no mínimo, né, 80%.
So just to follow up, here on the left, you see how I've completed the first one and the second one. So you would have to have completed all of these. And once you're done and you click complete and continue, it checks it off for you. And then you start the next one. It says you completed it, click continue, and then it automatically starts the next one.
Então, como pode ver, então, aqui vai marcando como ela estava a mostrar. Depois de terminar esse material todo, o registro desse material, depois vai submeter, então automaticamente vai passar para outro módulo. Para outro módulo.
Sim. Não sei se há mais questões. Bom, eu tenho uma. São três módulos. Se alguém, por exemplo, participar no primeiro módulo e concluir, e por algum motivo não puder, ou tiver alguma dificuldade, pode conseguir fazer o terceiro.
Okay, my question is, we are talking about 3 modules. If let's say that I do the first module and then for certain reasons, I fail to do the second module. Is it possible for me to do the third module? Eu não sei se entendi. Faz o primeiro, por um motivo qualquer, não faz o segundo módulo, se pode passar a fazer o terceiro módulo, é isso, né?
Sim. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, that's the question. I do the first, then for some reason I fail to do the second module. Is it possible for me to do the third module?
Yes, you are able to skip a module if you would like to, but then you would only receive certificate for the 2 modules that you completed. And now I believe INS would like for everyone to complete all 3 if possible, but you technically can just do the modules that you would like to do.
Ok, tecnicamente pode fazer os módulos que deseja fazer. Pode fazer o primeiro módulo, pode saltar o segundo e fazer o terceiro. Mas o INS, na verdade, será bom para o INS, será bom que, do ponto de vista do INS, será bom que fizesse os 3 módulos, mas tem essa prerrogativa de poder fazer aqueles módulos que deseja fazer. E só vai receber certificado daqueles módulos que fez.
Obrigado. Talvez só salientar que é importante, aliás, todos os módulos são importantes, e como a Deb disse, é importante que todos participem nos 3 módulos, concluam os 3 módulos, mas o que não queríamos aqui é que as pessoas desanimassem porque por algum motivo não fizeram um e não puderem fazer o outro. Mas, como disse a Deb, realmente para o Instituto Nacional de Saúde é importante que todos concluam os 3 módulos, porque todos eles são importantes. Não sei se há mais questões.
And I also saw a question in the chat about the discussion forum, and I just wanted to say I'm basically showing it here. So it shows up similar to another lesson, and it will ask you specifically, you know, the question that we would like for you to respond to. And the translator also reads it to you as well. And underneath, we've asked you to please participate, as your feedback is important. And we've given short instructions on how, you know, to click on this button here. Once you click discussion, this here opens up, and you will see that already some people have started this and posted their responses. And this now shows me logged in, but this would show yourself. And but you can click and you can type here your own response, and it contributes here to the discussion. And the nice thing is, because you have registered and we have your email, when someone responds, because maybe somebody else might respond to you, you will get a notice in your inbox saying that there's a post. And so you can go in and see what someone else has said as well too.
Thank you, Debbie. Bom, eu perguntava se há mais questões, mas antes queria salientar que é importante que todos concluamos os 3 módulos, tanto isso é importante para os estudantes de saúde. Mas no caso de haver alguma situação, tanto não desanime, é possível fazer 1, 2 módulos, mas o essencial queremos manter aqui, que é importante concluir os 3 módulos, porque todos eles são importantes. Há mais questões? Bom, como disse, estava previsto terminar este nosso evento às 15 horas, mas tivemos questões bastante importantes e acho que ajudaram na compreensão do próprio curso, e por isso nos perdoam pela demora. Dito isto, queria pedir o Dr. Ofino para tecer tanto algumas palavras no âmbito do encerramento deste nosso evento. Obrigado.
Creio que ficaram as questões essenciais e os esclarecimentos devidos. Cabe-me neste momento somente reiterar o meu convite para que todos possamos participar ativamente no curso, concluindo o curso dentro, portanto, deste horizonte temporal estabelecido, e desejar a todos sucessos, e que esta formação possa representar uma contribuição importante para o trabalho que os colegas já vêm desenvolvendo nesta área. A doutora Debbie gostaria também de endereçar o nosso sincero agradecimento pela colaboração, por todo o apoio ao Instituto e a Moçambique, neste caso, no que diz respeito à formação. Dr. Debbie, I would like to say thank you so much for your support to INS in particular, but also to Mozambique in general. As you have seen, we have here not only participants from INS, but also participants from different provinces, hospitals, and also some representatives from higher education institution in Mozambique. We have here, we had during the session around 40 people participating, which is very important, and I think that there is an open door for our future collaboration in other training, as we have been discussing before. Thank you so much for your support, and let's keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you again, and thank you all. I really very much appreciate your time. I know that it's very difficult with the work that you all are doing, you know, whether it be administrative, policy, seeing patients, academics or research. I mean, it's great to have such amazing representation. As we know, AMR really is a problem for everyone, and so we all are going to have to play our part. So thank you again, and please do not hesitate. I've put my email out there, and maybe Dr. Rufino, you can share it with people as well too. If there's more questions or any suggestions for us on how we can help Mozambique, please do not hesitate to email me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mais uma vez, obrigado a todos.
Thank you. Obrigado a todos. Portanto, podem contar com o suporte do Instituto Nacional de Saúde e também da DEB para qualquer questão. Condição de bom trabalho.